There we go. Okie dokes. Okie dokie, pig and pokey. Alright, let me see here. Okay. Am I coming through? Yeah, looks like I am. Good, good, good. All good things. Let's go. All right. So today is Incoherent Rambling number 2, Weaponizing Reasonable Ideas. How did I put it? I even forgot my own title. Weaponizing Reasonable, I'll just rephrase it, like whatever. But Weaponizing Reasonable Ideas to essentially push for very unreasonable ideas. To obscure, that's the word I use, to obscure, right? There's a lot of ways you can put it. You can say obscure, Trojan horse, a lot of terms you can use to kind of describe it. And it's constant, and it's all the fucking time, and it's not something that, you know, the state does or corporations just do, but just, you know, individuals do this on a consistent basis, especially if they have any kind of platform or anything like that. And I want to talk a little bit about it. I want to talk about an experience, a recent one that, you know, the same kind of thing happened, and how it's never a good idea to put anyone, and I haven't, like, for most of my life at this point, but put anyone on a pedestal, and that includes me. If for some reason you've been watching this shit for long enough and you have some like parasocial thing with my dumbass, do not put me on any kind of, this is the most reasonable, this guy is legit, whatever. Like, you know, it's fine to think that, but never like put much stock in that in general. Because you're just setting yourself up for disappointment in most cases. What's that old saying? Never meet your heroes. You know, just don't have heroes. Have people that have behaviors or words that you agree with, that you find interesting or useful, or you could say that idea that they have right there is good. But heroes, I don't know if they're such a good idea. It comes with the conditions that, like, almost like this sainthood to it that gets ascribed to it in a weird way. But anyway, so more specifically today, I want to go over how oftentimes really great ideas, or reasonable ideas, I'll say reasonable because, you know, they might not be great as in like they might not work, but they're still reasonable arguments, reasonable positions, and sometimes correct or more factually correct positions, or you can back it up through, you know, via both qualitative and quantitative evidence, and you know, patterns of reasonable, maybe correlation but not quite causation, and that's how you ask like questions and shit. Like, that's fine. But oftentimes, especially if you're talking on the internet, this is just a constant fucking thing, is that, and people like to use the word like dog whistling. I think that is like, that's like low tier, basic bitch way of like sort of getting information across to people. So I don't really put a lot of like stock in people talking about dog whistling, things like that. I'm just like, yeah. Well, if they're dog whistling for real, then they're just, what are they doing? Like catering to the demographic that's already like into that stuff. So like it's not a very good tactic. Even though a lot of people think it's like, oh, it's, you know, it's the big manipulation, the big tactic. I'm like, nah, you got way better ones. So I'll give you the example of what I experienced recently that made me go, oh, again, this again. Okay, cool. So a few streams, you might have seen my posts on YouTube or on the server, but a few stream, like I don't know what stream it was, but one of the streams, maybe the last one, I talked about a channel called Rathbone, right? Rathbone, right? And I had come across this channel, I would say, like, how long has it been? Maybe like 2 months ago or like a month ago. Makes you think, what is the real value of schizoid spectrum people listening to a narcissist? I guess if they want to learn about narcissism, that'd be a possibility. Oh, like you're talking about like Sam Batman. That can never say his goddamn last name right. Sam Batnin. Yeah, it's like it's not very useful. If anything, it'll confoodles and confusels most schizoids into like really understanding what the hell's going on. Or anybody for that matter that's trying to get their info out of somebody that, you know, is openly narcissist, and then like they try to sort of conflate all those things into like everything's NPD. It's like, okay, buddy. But anyway, whatever. I'm getting off the rails here. But that Rathbone channel, and you can look at it, whatever. I vibed with the aesthetic initially. I thought, hey, this is like Ginger me, right? In the sense that he looks tired, he looks like fed up. And I started like listening to his stuff, and you know, he was saying like a lot of really good, reasonable shit. You know, he has like anti-capitalist positions. He has that, you know, many of which I agree with, because that shit's old hat already. Can we move on? He had you know, just a variety of positions on different things that I kind of vibe with, and I'm like, that's reasonable, that's true, that's historically accurate, because I'm, you know, I like history, and I'm the guy who studied it or whatever. And so he was talking a lot about, because it's been one of his shticks, I guess, for a minute. He was talking about the Israeli-Palestine situation, right? The Palestinian genocide. And obviously it's a contentious issue. A lot of propaganda. Oh, God. Hold on. My daughter just showed up. Okay, so I try my best to keep my daughter out of the camera. I don't like that. I don't like her to be on camera for a bunch of fucking strangers to look at her. It's just not a thing. And yeah, well, she has gotten into her idea. It's, hold on, she's trying it again. She's gotten into her mind that she wants to be on the camera when I stream, and me and my wife, we're not about that. And so right now she's like, I'm gonna get on the camera. I'm like, and so she tries to sneak up and get on it, and she got behind my chair. I'm just like, oh my God. So I had to like grab her little arm. I didn't pull hard, but I just had to like pull her this way. I'm like, no, I don't like you being on camera. Like, it's just not, my private life is my private life. And like, she's just, But yeah, anyway. So yeah, anyway, I gotta talk to wife about that. Like somehow, because it's a slide door thing. It's not really like a door I can lock that I'm in here doing this. And plus she likes to tell me goodnight, which is perfectly fine, but not getting on camera. Anyway, so he has positions regarding like a lot of that stuff, right? And I am a I believe in yeah, maybe you'll unsub or whatever, that's fine, but I believe there is a genocide going on. I believe that a lot of this, all this stuff is just not, it is not okay. It is not okay, and I'm seeing like historical patterns that I'm just not comfortable with when it comes to the last, since essentially, for the most part, since the inception of Israel itself, right, as a state, and even the way it was brought about. If you know your history, it's just not fun. It's not okay. A lot of bad news, but that's not what I want to talk about right now. So what I want to talk about is that guy, who had a lot of positions that I was like, yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, that's good. Okay, I like that. They were initially focusing on, what would be like Zionism, what would be, the Israeli state, Netanyahu, Bibi, all that kind of shit, right? A lot of the propaganda. I mean, Mossad's like amazing at propaganda. I read a few books on them. They're really fucking good. They're really good. And it's just okay, whatever. So continuing on, he started saying stuff that I was like, oh man, please let those words just be a slip of the tongue, because he wasn't saying that before. It would be very specific, right? He'd get fired up and he'd say Zionists and genocidal Israeli state and all this sort of stuff, right? And then he would sometimes slip up and say Jews instead of Zionists, or Israeli soldiers, or like, you know what I mean? Like, obvious, there's words that you can say. And I thought, oh well, maybe he's tired, or maybe he's just like, he'll be like, yes, it's like something, the this or something, and I'm like, all right, that automatically red flagged me. I'm like, please don't be going down that route, please. And I'll explain why I have such a problem with it. Like, well, there's obvious problems with it. And then later there was another video they put out in which they were essentially like liking comments that were clearly fucking anti-Semitic, not anti-Zionist, not anti the Israel state, anti-Semitic comments, like comments like, oh, maybe those books that they don't want us to read are like, there's truth in them, or maybe Germany, like, oh, Netanyahu's blaming the world now. Maybe somebody was blaming Germany back then. It's like, oh, the world, kicked out of this many countries or something like that, right? Oh, but the world's the problem. Like, comments like that. And I'm like, oh. And then he was like liking all those comments. I'm like, and then he said, he said himself in that very stream, he said, and I was like, I try to be charitable. I try to be as good faith as I can with it, but this was just like absurd. He stated that, oh, well, this has been going on for centuries, long before, this century. It's been going on forever, but, it's always been, the world, right? It's the world that's messed up. Well, no, but no. What's that? Wait. Well, I mean, I don't know what you heard, but point is, he extended it beyond the state of Israel, right? He extended it beyond a lot of the history. This is really fucking bad. And then it turned into like, he started connecting it to like fucking, basically like justifying a lot of pogroms and like other shit that went on, right? And then like, comments about the bankers, and I'm just like, damn it, man, damn it. And so, yeah, unsubbed. And but the more blatant comments that were just like, you know, oh, 6 million and this and that, and there's probably like somebody said it's like more like 0, and like there was like like hearts, you know, the little likes, and I'm like, bro, why are you liking that shit? And then I thought about it, and I'm like, oh man, because he didn't say a lot of that, anything like that, like in older videos, right? But now that there's this like growing, you know, noticing of the Israeli state and all its problems and what it's been doing, I guess like he felt like showing his power level more, right? And started using Jews more, started using terms that like were essentially more about like the followers of that religion, or conflating it with ethnicity. Yeah, I don't care about that, and I know that. I know history, and it's not just them. It's been plenty of groups throughout history that have been doing this. Anyway, I don't give a shit. I'm not dealing with that. All right, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm not here to fucking go over history lessons and all kinds of stuff like that. Anyway, so it's just frustrating because people don't even like, don't even like know the stuff about like that predates that shit. Like, whatever. I don't care. Just whatever. Watch some video essay about how it's all true. In any case, the point was a lot of good ideas, a lot of things I absolutely are founded in in significant amounts of truth, right? And then he starts dropping that kind of stuff, that kind of language, and these kinds of things. And then what is it going to do? It's literally like, even from like, let's just say you're some fucking nut job that wants to fucking believe that, yeah, it's like in their DNA, the Jews, like whatever fucking insane bullshit, right? Because like, you know, I don't know. There's like so many fucking absurd reasons I've seen online throughout the years. But point is, even if you believe that, right? Why do you think it would be a good idea to even make those kinds of statements if you already believe that it's like part of the great mechanism that they created the term anti-Semitism and all this sort of shit, right? Like, why even associate yourself with that if your goal is to be subversive? No, he was not joking. He was not joking in the least. He was not joking. And what aggravates me is that I'm like, you know, this Rathbone guy, I was like, bro, like, I was literally thinking in my head, this is the guy we need to get like more attention on this subject over like absolute retards like Hassan Piker, right? Like people that like, they almost look like a guy like Hassan Piker essentially just looks like almost like controlled opposition, right? He's so absurd. He's so fucking lunkheaded. He just says absurd, stupid shit. I don't care about the drama stuff, except for that thing where he did recently where he hurt that dog, and fuck him for that. Don't fucking hurt your fucking pets. What the fuck? That's all I need to know about somebody. That's it. You hurt your pet to keep them in line, to discipline them? I don't have to fucking hear a single goddamn word out of your mouth after that. I don't give a fuck what you have to think. You're already at a bad start. But in any case, I was thinking this guy, wow, this guy, he's the radical anarchist or lefty guy that maybe he's still kind of tanky sometimes, but fucking at least he's got some good ideas, and it's not like absolute fucking insane crocs of shit that he's pulling out of his ass. And he does this, and then I'm just like, well, there goes another one. And this is how it's always happened. And a lot of people don't realize. Um, a lot of people don't realize that there is such a thing as left wing fascism, left wing anti-Semitism. And right, I mean, it's fascism is not exclusive to anything. It is just a worship of the state overall, essentially turning the state into the religion. Hence, they oftentimes try to get rid of religion because it gets in the way of state power. Right. So it wasn't surprising in the end. It wasn't like, oh wow, because it was a common thing. I've met plenty of people that are like, oh, you know, they're against the Palestinian genocide, but then they're also like, they also think like the Jews are just like have like a cursed bloodline of evil or whatever fucking dumb bullshit, are all working together because they got fucking magic or something. Fucking absurd, man. I mean, what was a recent clip? Fucking, I was like, please, like, it's funny too, because like, there's a lot of stuff that I'm against. Well, obviously, it's like I'm against circumcision. I'm fully against male circumcision. I think that shit should be outlawed all over the world, and that they got to figure out how to be okay with it, because there you go. Like just like with like, you know, Islam has a bunch of like cultural things that I'm like, nope, buddy, that ain't happening in modern civilization. Sorry. In some groups, some sects, you know, I know it's complicated, but it's the same thing. I feel the same way about something like male circumcision. It's like, no, just no. Yeah. And so I guess with Rathbone, I thought I had found myself a reasonable tanky in many ways, even though it's kind of a pejorative. You know what I mean? But no, not at all. Not at all. I started looking at some of his other videos, and he's like, you know, talking positively about certain things, and I'm just like, nah, bro, those things ain't cutting it. But this happens all the time, right? You can watch whoever the fuck you want. There's like another channel, right? What is it? I can't stand her. Like, initially, I started watching the video or two, and I was like, oh, again, she had some reasonable positions when it came to certain things, but then they turn into unreasonable fucking nonsense. It's like you package bullshit in facts, right? To sneak in the bullshit. To sneak they sneak in what's the word? Speculation, and mix it with facts so that it sounds like it's part of the facts. Like it just, it's constant. You probably watch channels that literally do this shit, and you might not know it's happening. Sabine Hassenfelder. I watched like a channel or two, and I'm like a video or two, and I have like a very anti-establishment, very anti-authoritarian, very like all this sort of shit positions on a lot of stuff. So I tend to be like biased toward like, you know, something resisting those things, right? Or somebody being anti-corruption, anti-nepotism, anti-despotism, or despotism, you know, anti various forms of manipulative propaganda. You know, I believe in the existence of stuff like what's it called? Jesus Christ, I can't even think of the term, but where people like insert fake protesters to cause problems, right? Provocateurs, agent provocateurs. Those things are real things. They've been used forever. So I'm not like some fucking bootlicking statist. I'm not like any of that shit. I'm not a Democrat. I'm not a Republican. I don't believe in the two-party system. I, right? That's kind of like my bias when it comes to stuff. I have a bias against like, was it, sort of like this central power state shit, right? I don't like that stuff. But I'm not unreasonable. I don't go like, it's all bad. They're all evil. It's all corrupt. It's like, no, that's just goofy, man. But Sabine Hassenfelder, right? She does science, and her channel was interesting because she would do videos about how research, academia, a bunch of stuff that I think is wrong with it is wrong. Like, it doesn't work. This doesn't work. This kind of like, there is like a oftentimes almost like a tribalism within even the STEM community for like certain things and groups and people they work with. And there's like a lot of bullshit happens in academia that honestly exists in everything else. And it's just the old fucking normal old hat things that human beings do oftentimes to each other, and, you know, give each other a raise up just because somebody else, but put somebody less competent on because you know them and they're a friend or their family member, you know, just bullshit like that. You know, promote somebody else's research because they promote yours. In like, and it's like for like weird, like icky, non science focused reasons, right? But Sabine, so that was my bias, right? I watched like a video or two and I was like, oh yeah, I agree. There's a lot of this stuff. And then she starts saying shit like, then I'm like, no, that's not the same thing at all. Oh no, you're just generalizing all kinds of goofy shit. And then I would watch other videos where I'm like, oh, this like layout, like the way you're like presenting this feels very like manufactured, very like too precise, too specific, or I find a lot of cherry picking of examples and situations, or a lot of what do you fucking call it, lies through omission, right? What? And so it, and I look into her more and I'm like, oh my god, she's just a grifter. But her whole grift is to keep people watching her by making nonstop videos about how her interpretation of science is pure and good and wants truth, and everyone else's is corrupt and bad and not scientific, and like basically behaving like she's the only motherfucking scientist. Yeah, she's a low-key science denier. It's crazy. She presents herself as like a fucking science advocate, lover, all this shit, and then she just like, she'll have debunk videos, and then I'll be like, debunk, and then I'll look into it, and she'll be like citing one paper that has like some piece of information that can make you question one thing, and then she uses that to say things got debunked. Like, it's fucking wild. And recently, I think it was like 3 weeks ago, she said she got fired from wherever she worked or something. Rip free speech, right? Dude, I could not imagine like trying to work with this woman. Like, it must be fucking infuriating. And I'm not going to say she's not intelligent. She is intelligent, but man, it is like, she's got a lot of real bad traits, man. And there's a lot of stuff going on where I'm like, what? Why are you doing this? This is like actively spreading misinformation, but you're promoting yourself as a pro-science person. And then she'll do the same thing I've been rambling about. She'll, a German accent though, very academic. No, but she does have a background. She's just using it to grift. And she's using her intelligence to grift. By packaging shit that is almost like science denying in this like, oh, well, everything's corrupt and all research is all fucked up, so like, how could we believe any of it, right? Like, but she says it in way more words. Oh, she's absolutely writing that shit. Like, and she's making money, dude. She's making money. She's got like attention. There's people that like, there's a bunch of people, I'll read the comments and I'm like, yo, like, they're just taking her shit as like like fucking, like she's preaching true science, and only she knows about it, and the rest of the scientific community is a bunch of charlatans and liars and manipulators. It's like, Jesus Christ. It reminds you want to know what it reminds me of? It's like a grift where you keep people actively paranoid about something. Like you just continuously keep them paranoid, and then you make money off them. Right? Because, you'll sell programs, you'll sell books, you'll sell special videos, you'll sell all kinds of shit, right? Fucking vitamins, crap. And it's just it's something that I think a lot of like people just it makes them feel like they're watching something smart, right? I think a lot of people that watch this, and it kind of connects in many ways to the video I talked about last time, the midwits and pseudo intellectuals, right? They like sometimes some of those people fall into channels like this because it makes them feel like they're in the know. They know the truth. They're smarter than everyone else that believes this and that. Those people are stupid. I am big smart because I know truth about the thing, right? It turns into a weird ego thing, right? Like they find an enjoyment in having the secrets, right? It's not about truth seeking. It's about like feeling they're a part of something that makes them feel like they're in the know. And that feeling is so fucking, like, it pulls on people so hard. And I know that feeling. My reasons were a little different. It was more about like being afraid of the fucking world and trying to find answers, and then not having the knowledge to do it appropriately. Like in my 20s, I would like start thinking certain things were crazy, like through like just like, no, bro, like you got to parse this shit out. You got to separate fact from fiction, or what have you. And so they get pulled into this like open arms of these people that go, hey, look at me, I'm reasonable. Look, some of the stuff I'm saying, look, facts, I have citations, I got receipts, check it out, I'm reasonable, and I'm not crazy like the other people. And then they just start little by little drip feeding certain philosophical ideas, perspectives, right? And it's I don't know why these people do this. I'm guessing it's money, but it's so weird, right? Because there's more money to be made in backing like the money making horse, right? Why present yourself as being like trying to subvert things, trying to like resist bad things, and then you have a belief that is essentially the kind of belief that is used as a vehicle to push for other bad things, and then you end up alienating or losing a portion of your demographic that's like, what the fuck are you talking about, man? I was watching you because you had some like cool takes on a few things. What the fuck is this, right? And then and then there's that group of people. There's that group, that's me and whoever has done that. And then there's the group of people that go, hey, you know what? I've trusted this person for a long time, and they've never steered me wrong. Look, they did nothing but facts here. Look at this video and that video and this video, and they say all these really good things, and they've been really truthful and really like academically honest and intellectually honest and all this sort of shit, right? And then they start dropping dumb shit in there, and people just fucking eat it up. I feel like the people who do that oftentimes don't do any kind of research on their own. They just like rely on the cool video to to just confirm what's true. It sounds true, must be, all the fucking time. Have you seen the channel Personality Couch? Might have some research out there soon on relationship aphantasia, synesthesia, metacognition, neurodivergence pertaining to schizoid. Oh, that's interesting. Grifting has been heard docile virtues since I saw it in Aristotle. Nothing new there. Yeah, I know. So let's change that. All right, let's fight against that. That in and of itself. I mean, let's see here. What do we got? Yeah, try to see what else. You guys like occasionally drop like a bunch of non sequiturs, or some of you drop like non sequiturs. So I'm just like, I read it and I'm like, why is that there? What the fuck? Like, why is that there? Well, I guess that's normal. That's normal, I guess. I don't know. I'm not used to having an active chat, so. But it seems the chat's become a little more active since I started not just talking about a specific PD and the issues. Oh, and speaking of which, if you believe, well, if you have schizoid PD diagnosed or whatever, we have an application system. We have a vetting process. We're very on top of it. And it's a space for just schizoids, essentially. There is sections for everybody else. And I am planning on unveiling something soon that might be of use to other people. We shall see. Working on it. In any case, what was I saying? Another example, right, is this guy named Professor Jean. Professor. Well, I didn't know it was a conversation. Where is it? Fucking. What was his name? Is it Professor Jean? Oh. Hold on. I think it's man, I'm so bad. Is it Professor Jing, the guy who does like the predictive stuff? Let's see here. Yeah, Prof. Jiang. Jiang. I think it's Jiang. Giang. Prof. Jiang Clips. He has the Predictive History channel. That's his. That's what it's called, Predictive History. Right. Man, it's the same shit with this guy, man. I swear to fucking God. Intelligent guy. Cites shit. Drops a lot of facts. A lot of good history. A lot of good, interesting theories and ideas. Has done some pretty decent, like, predictive stuff in the past, right? And, like, where, you know, it's just talking about patterns and the setups and, like, this happened, and these are the 3 likely scenarios. I think this one... I think that this one is the most likely scenario, and then it's happened. He's done pretty decent guesses. I would say like intelligent guessing, informed guessing in many ways, right? But here's the big but. But then you start really digging into his videos, and this is when I was like, oh no. He's talking about like the psychology of evil, right? He starts talking about other types of topics that aren't exactly like geopolitical. Starts getting more into like philosophy. He starts getting into like history, art, right? He started getting into what do you call it? Gnosticism. He did a whole fucking, and I consider myself like a modern Gnostic, and I'm not gonna go over what that means, but more about the philosophy. But he starts talking about it, and it's good. I mean, some of the points he's making are good, interesting, whatever. Like, I'm okay, yeah, I know that. But the videos start turning into this like. Essentially, the goal seems to it's just based on that one and a few others. Because when he was talking about Gnosticism, I'm like, okay, interesting. I wonder why he's covering this subject, right? It turns into like this whole like a like, what is it, like, anti-Western society, pro-Eastern, anti-Western, and talking about how great Eastern art is, how great Russian art, Eastern European art, uh, you know, he's just like a lot of focus on that stuff, and a lot of putting down of Western anything. And but he does it in a way where he's like, I'm just dropping information. I'm just trying to have like, I'm just trying to like, and it's always in a, I don't know if it's a classroom, because it does seem like there's people there. And so like he'll get like, sometimes he'll get like esoteric shit that I find interesting, and then weave it into that narrative. Yeah, there's a lot of ingrained assumptions, right? There's a lot, but it's still like, it was still interesting to watch, because it's like, oh, this brought up some really cool and interesting ideas. I wish to explore them further. And that's fun, right? And then some of the ideas I was like, yeah, that's actually a reasonable idea. I don't know, like, I just go, well, that's a reasonable or interesting theory. How does it hold up? Like, are we just speculating? Is this just reasonable, like reasonable speculation, right? There's unreasonable speculation, there's reasonable speculation, but it's still speculation. Saudi Arabia just bought Electronic Arts for $55 billion, and I'm creeped out. They bought EA? I don't know what the fuck is going on with Saudi Arabia. Like, well, I do, but I mean, like, as a, in a slang way, like, I don't know what the fuck's going on. Because like, another example of don't put people on a pedestal. Bill Burr. Anybody in chat a fan of Bill Burr? I was. I liked some of his comedies. I liked some of his like stances that he would verbalize against billionaires, and virtue signaling, like empty virtue signaling of celebrities and shit like that. I liked Bill Burr's comedy sometimes. Sometimes it was like, eh, but sometimes it was good. There was some good nuggets of social commentary there that were funny. And he yelled a lot, and I liked that. Then what does he do? He recently took a fucking, I can't remember. It was like, I think it was 1.6 mil to from Saudi royals to do a show over there, right? And one, if you don't know why that's not the best idea, or why being associated, yeah, he has said some dumb shit, yeah, for sure. And everyone says dumb shit. I don't care. Like, people say dumb shit, but like, there's a difference between dumb shit and like actively malevolent shit. Some people are just dumb, or they're not educated on something very well, right? Some mistakes are made. I'm not like some fucking purity testing psycho. Um, but taking money from Saudi royals to perform in front of like 8,000 common folk, and then claiming that that was like made it okay, is crazy. And the reason it's crazier is because he's a person that presents himself, and part of his whole thing is that he's against these types of behaviors, right? He used to call out all kinds of actors and other comedians for being sellouts, for not being themselves, not being true to themselves or their words or their principles or the stuff they like actually give a fuck about, and being like two-faced and full of shit, right? And he does something this fucking out of pocket for money, just because money, right? Don't be that guy if you're gonna like take blood money, because that's what you built your whole fucking career on, right? Being sincere, being honest, saying it like it is, blah blah blah. it would be like, well, I'm getting into it. The point is, he took the money, he did the performance, and he admits that there were certain topics that he could not joke about. And he accepted those parameters. Mr. Anti-censorship. Mr. like, hey, a joke's a joke. Stop being such a pussy. Why is everyone such a pussy about jokes? Right? And it's just like, man. Like, and then he's trying to sell it like he was a good guy. He tried to sell it like I made jokes there that no one's ever made. If anything, I was advocating for more free speech in Saudi Arabia. I'm like, bro, like really? Yeah, selling out for not even that much money, considering like, how much he could make. Uh, just doing taking more ethical money or whatever. Like it's fucking insane. Okay, rational. No. Okay, let's not do that one. MDE. That's another one. That's another one. I used to like Sam Hyde's comedy. I thought it was a kind of nihilistic, absurdist, sort of like playing with like notions, like in a kind of comedy way of like some kind of more like a doom, black pilled sort of like fucking the world is doomed, everything's fucked, the systems are corrupt and broken, but it's kind of funny. Let's make jokes about it, how everything's fucked. Like, dude, I'll enjoy myself some like fucking doomer, fucking nihilistic shit, right? It's fun. It's a fun. It's there's a part of my brain that goes like, it's fun. I get it. I'm not gonna base my life on that because that's fucking dumb. But the comedy is there, and I can laugh at horrible things, right? When the Charlie Kirk thing happened, I don't know. See, this is what sucks. I don't know if the people like they were making unreasonable claims about him before were right about him, but no, I don't. That's not how that works. Like they didn't just have magical powers that allowed them to figure out what he was really about early. I don't buy it. I tend to believe more that this was like something that progressed over time with him. I think it had more to do with a variety of things, right? The anxiety and stress of like trying to run his own little media empire of like off the back of nothing but like a very very odd collection, a demographic of people, right? Everything from like, well, everything, radical anything, uh because they were able to find, some of them were able to find some of his jokes like, oh, he's actually saying this, but like people were saying that about different things from different positions, so it always felt like, that's why it always felt so absurd to me, right, the whole thing. But then yes, over time you started just like getting more kind of like disappointed, dejected. He started getting more, I think, more people started getting involved in his life, which is odd too. That I'm like, okay, like friends and stuff, and like not the old, not always like the classic dudes, like new guys, younger guys too. And I'm like, what's happening here? Okay, he's just, he's got a staff. That's cool. And I thought a lot of it was irony and stuff, and it might have been at one point. That's my point. It could have been just a bunch of like nihilistic irony shit, because he shaped comedy, like online comedy, for a lot of people, and the gaming world too. A lot of meme culture and shit like that. Interesting stuff. But then he just kind of turned into a boring ass fucking normie. Yeah, it must have been the money. All those dudes are on Xanax. I don't know. But it has to be the fucking money. Because they just like they like Sam Hyde, it's just he just turned into a fucking normie, dude. Like he just turned, and when I say normie, I mean like just tribalistic, boring ass, like fucking like the most boring shit imaginable. Very low context, low nuance. I don't know if he fucking like it was the money, it's because he's getting older, it's because he got scared, or what happened. But the moment Charlie Kirk got assassinated, and I'm not going to get into all that, so don't start with me. It's a whole fucking bunch of that. The moment that happened, he just, like, people said he went mask off, right? Maybe. Maybe it pushed him over the edge. Maybe he freaked the fuck out. Maybe he remembered, oh shit, I'm a contentious figure. That's very divisive to people. Am I next? Oh, the Charlie Kirk special was terrible. And I was like, dude, I watched it when he said, like, you know, when, like, soon after he died, and he started saying all this, like, we have to protect, like, he essentially just turned into, like, you know, what is it? The 14, is it 14 words? It turned into the 14 words. No, politics are not full of substance, right? But that's because they're designed to not be. If you actually gave a fuck, they could be. Um, you know, Bretton Woods agreement, I guess not. Do you think we heal with becoming normies? I feel like I am becoming one. Nah. I don't think that's how that. I don't think that has any. That's a whole. That's I'm not talking about schizoid stuff. That's when I say normies, I'm not in reference to schizoid, not schizoid shit. I'm talking more like people that just get into like this fucking. They stop thinking in meta ways. Like they stop thinking. They create like a structure in their mind about like what pillars of truth cannot be questioned and cannot be like altered, and then like and then they just leave no more room for anything. Sensitive topic in the media? I guess not. I mean, I would have take their like, yeah, you're right. I'm not gonna listen to a comedian and be like, that's who I get my news from, all my facts. A fucking comedian, right? That's crazy. Like anybody that listens to Sam Hyde and thinks like this guy knows what's up, he knows the truth. I get all my fucking philosophical uh conundrum solved by Sam Hyde. That's retarded. What are you doing? I mean, I don't know now, but I'll tell you right now, old Sam Hyde would tell you that's fucking stupid. Now he's just the guru. He turned into a fucking guru. It's crazy. When I think of normie, I also think of tribalistic thinking. Like they fall into like when I think of a normie, I think of somebody that like falls prey to just about every psyop possible. Just about every psyop possible. Like that's what a normie is to me. That's like how I distinguish things. Normies are people that will like just fall for psyops left and right. Like prop works like so great on them, like nonstop. They don't question jack shit most of the time. They're just busy thinking about like their next meal or getting laid or their family. The grillers, essentially, like a lot of they're just kind of grilling. Um, and they're not they don't like stand for anything except for like sort of like superficial stuff. I'm not saying it's bad stuff. It's just it tends to be kind of like surface level. But the tribal part, not the emotional part. Emotions are okay, people. I know, right? I figured that one out. But emotions are okay. Now, what matters is what you do with those emotions and how you navigate those emotions, how you regulate those emotions. Emotions in and of themselves are okay. Remember that. Don't forget that part. Us schizoids forget that one too. It's about regulation. It's about knowing time and place. It's about self awareness about your actions and what motivates them. That's what that's about. And I think kind of getting good at that and doing a lot of that is what allows you to sort of circumvent your own biases to a better degree, because you go, oh, I know me, I know what traps I'll fall into. Almost had me there, buddy. I know my psychology. What happened to George Carlin? He died. I think it was like heart problems or something. Unless you like do the whole like, ow, fuck. You know, he got killed like Bill Hicks or something. Rationalizing my anger. Yeah. Your therapist or George? Kidding, folks. But it was just my therapist told me I'm good at rationalizing my anger. He died. But I think that's a reference to. He became a preachy guru at the end of his career. Fucking awesome. I didn't know that about George Carlin. Him too? I'm glad Bill Hicks didn't get to that point. I'm not glad Bill Hicks died of cancer, but I'm glad Bill Hicks never got to that point. I'm glad Bill Hicks was just a raving lunatic that said really good shit a lot. I like my comedians to remain raving lunatics that don't take themselves too seriously. Like that's what we're for. Okay? If you're a raving lunatic, don't take yourself too seriously, especially if you're a comedian. He's not Alex Jones now. Don't start active. I know about that. He's not Alex Jones. That shit is dumb. Get out of here with that goofy shit. But too real? Nah. He's not too real. See, that's the thing. When it comes to comedians, I think they're supposed to be the court jester, right? They're the person that points out the obvious shit that nobody wants to talk about. That's all a comedian is for. A comedian is to point out truths that are uncomfortable and then make jokes that allow those truths to be slightly less uncomfortable to talk about or mention. Right? It's that whole like, hey, isn't this thing kind of fucked up? And then it's, yeah, I'm just kidding. Right? You know, that's what comedians are supposed to be doing. That's it. That's their job. Make me laugh. Right? And if you want to get like controversial, point out uncomfortable truths and make me laugh. And don't take yourself too fucking seriously. Norm Macdonald, hell yeah. Norm Macdonald was a fucking king. That guy never took himself fucking seriously ever. And he's fucking hilarious. And his deadpan delivery. And he would say like insane shit. And contradict himself constantly through his jokes. That's what a comedian is. Same thing with actors. Actors are for acting. It baffles me how people give weight to the opinion of an entertainer when it comes to like really complex subject. Right. This is not a person that spends a lot of time doing these things. This is a person that plays parts and studies scripts and maybe does like research for the part. And I can't tell you how many times I've heard like an actor in a movie that's of some kind of historical nature, and there's a bunch of like kind of weird inaccurate bullshit. I'm not even talking about like inaccurate historical shit like that's not the right kind of horse. No, I'm talking about like oh wait, that's not really how that happened, or that really wasn't the event to set that off. That's a weird stuff like that. And then hearing the actor be like, wow, I did research for my part, I really didn't like, wow, this movie is really capturing what really happened. And I'm like, bro, just act, please. And then people like go like, well, he said it's like real. It's like real. We're gonna go watch reality in the theater. It's like, no, stop, please. I'm begging you. It's a movie. It's entertainment. And or people that watch documentaries and think they learned a bunch of stuff. That drives me crazy, especially if it's like again like a a contentious topic, a topic that like isn't like cut and dry, right? It isn't a documentary about like a specific murder that occurred and all the evidence that happened. Like, okay, all right, fine. How do you like it's not that hard to fuck that one up, right? But they still do. Um, but when it's like a documentary on this particular kind of corruption, and then it's like, wow, you're leaving out this, you're leaving out that, you're leaving out this. But then I remember, oh, they have an agenda, right? And even if they don't, say they just want to like get the word out, right? They can't fit all that in one documentary, so you can give them the benefit of the doubt in that sense, right? So then what do? You watch a documentary, you become interested in a topic that you didn't know about, and then inside yourself you accept that all you learned was what the documentary told you. That's it. If you decide, I want to research this further so that you could talk about it in a more authoritative way, go ahead, do that. Don't watch a documentary and then start telling people what happened or how it went down, and you're just regurgitating what you saw in the documentary. And this goes to like everything else. It ties into what I'm talking about, because documentaries do the same shit, right? A lot of facts, a lot of cool stuff, and a couple of speculation, and then they muddy the waters, and then you're like, oh, okay, it's all true. No, I know Carlin was always talking political and societal stuff, but he was doing it most of the time. I don't know his latest. Right. Make it funny. Make it true. And don't take yourself too seriously. That's it. George Carlin, from what I knew of him, didn't take himself too seriously. Like, at all. He was taking world events pretty seriously. And yes, his agenda might have been to like inform people of like bad shit or manipulative shit that the state or society does to them. Yes, that's great. But I'm not gonna read a book about society written by George Carlin. I'm gonna be like, yeah, man, there's already like other people that don't do comedy that dedicate far more serious time to the subject. So like, I don't know why I'm gonna be like, hey, I gotta pick up that George Carlin book on fill in the blank. Yeah. Well, they come out scathed. I've seen more than enough times like comedians get like shit thrown at them, or like actually like people wanting to fight them and shit and things like that. So, well, Winter, that's a little wacky, because like, what's funny to you isn't like, you're not gonna find everything fucking funny. Like, you know what I mean? You can't be the arbiter of humor. and then be like, well, I didn't find it funny, it must be just bigotry. Like no, because then you get into this like weird situation and where like people do that, right? They'll be like, well, I don't think that's funny, you're just being a bad person. It's like because it just doesn't hit their funny bone the right way. So I don't think that's what you mean, but I guess that's the half the time part. Call me a contrarian, but everyone, especially the right, loves quotes. Carlin, no thanks. What does that have to do with anything? That's goofy. The right likes quoting them. Gives a fuck. The left quotes them too. Like, what? I don't care who gets quoted. I could, a bunch of right wingers can quote like fucking what? Nikola Tesla. Let's get a bunch of Nikola Tesla quotes. Any group can cherry pick quotes and take them out of context to support their idea. That's nothing to do with it. What that's not being a contrarian. That's just goofy. I'm sorry. It's just this. You can't. I don't care. If a bunch of right wingers or left winger or people that I fucking politically or ethically disagree with, or they started fucking quoting I don't know, Junji Ito, like one of my favorite mangakas of all time, I'm not gonna be like, oh man, now I can't read, now I can't read any Junji Ito because all the people I hate politically keep quoting him. That's just, might want to rethink that one. That's all I'm saying. Yeah, I think I'm gonna go now. I think I rambled enough, and I'm tired, and I want to go like hug my kids. And but before you leave, oh, I never turned on the chat. Well, I mean, I could read it, but I never actually turned it on so that it would show up. That's funny. That's funny. Yeah, that should have been there the whole time. I'm a fucking idiot. All right. Anyway, guys, did I miss anything? This is the ramble stream, right? Thursdays I ramble. If Saturdays I will do commentary on videos that I find interesting, right? And Tuesdays, if I stream, it's again probably some mix of that. But yeah, if you want rambles, that's Thursday. But yeah, on Saturday I'm gonna cover like what I want to do is like cover like broad subjects. I don't care about like what's trending, right? Like unless what's trending, it's Fridays. It's Friday. I don't know what you're talking about. Maybe like there's some people that it airs on a different day for them. It's like, they're like in fucking Eastern Europe or something. But or Australia. But what was I gonna say? Yeah, like what my goal with this channel now, because like I've essentially increased the demo I'm trying to talk to, not because I abandoned all the schizoids, but because like it's just I've said all I can say, and I reached out to as many people as I could, and nobody gave a shit. So I have to obviously expand my reach so that more people might give a shit about what I have to say. I have no idea. I don't know. I'm still of the belief that the only people that could help people with schizoid PD are other people with schizoid PD. That's it. Like, that's my position. It's up to us to save ourselves. It's up to neurodivergents to save themselves in general, in many ways. Got to get heard, folks. Right? And no, I'm not talking about by self-victimizing yourself like nonstop like a idiot. That doesn't help anything. At least not most of the time. It's about actively doing good shit, getting stuff done, and reducing harm in things that you can. I forgot you guys are globalists. Goofy goober type shit. Anyway, if you like my stuff, support me on Patreon, PayPal. It's in the description. Right now I don't have a fucking job. I'm still looking for a job because For those that don't know, everyone in the company I worked for, like everyone that lived in California, got like that, and it was good. It was good, and it paid well, and it's just gone now. It sucks. It's fucking annoying because I hate money, and I don't like thinking about it. So, but if you want to give me some, I'll take it, because the more money I have, the less I have to think about it. You know, never. Ooh, I don't know what you're talking about there, active. Um, is that it? Is that all I had to shill? Yeah, I think that's it. I'm tired. I woke up too early today. Fuck. Oh, you pretend I didn't scold you? No, I did. If you were joking, that's good. If you weren't, then I scolded you. I don't mind scolding people. I'm not like it. If somebody, like, I'll say this right now, if somebody wants to like watch my streams, and I'm not saying that's what you're doing rational. I'm just saying, I just had a thought in my head. If somebody watches my streams because they get like some kind of parasocial, like if their goal is to get like a parasocial like enjoyment out of it, um, and like, parasocially be my friend or something, yeah, I'm not the guy. I'm not the guy. I the people I'm closest to, they call me out on dumb shit I say, and I call them out on dumb shit they say. And that's part of what works for me. So um so yeah, like I'm not looking to build an audience of people that like get really sad because I said something they said was dumb or incorrect. I'm glad you do. You should give me the controller for the eStim that you're wearing. Just ship it to me. I'll turn it on every stream for you. Anyway, giddy up. Giddy up. All right, bye. And as usual, my usual sign off. I changed it now, but it's the same. When day is dark, always remember happy day. But occasionally, also remember to get fucking mad.